I'm very excited about the upcoming Sandalphon Healing Technique 2.0. Can you tell us what it's about and maybe even how it's different?
Which one? The Sandalphon? So the Sandalphon 2.0 class, the Sandalphon class was all about the 7 layers of the aura, which is tied to the structure of the aura. So we're using the same oil, same kit, same everything, still addressing the structure of the aura. But now we're going to go into a little bit of a deeper dive with what each layer of the aura does, like the ones that did the PPT respiratory technique or the respiratory class, you could see that we utilize one of the layers of the aura, not all of it. And whenever we think of the aura, we think of it as just this one thing. But, like we've talked about in some of the different classes, there's the structure, there's the function, there's the dynamics. Then we started working the auric program, and the ones that did the intuition and healing the past, you can see like the intuitive components of the aura. The aura is um, under the influence of the lower nature or of the body until it's been refined enough where it starts to become under control of the soul. And when it becomes under control of the soul, you could say the rules change somewhat. And so part of what we're doing with all these aspects, with utilizing intuition and then addressing the different layers and the word programming and the functions, and here we're talking about the structure, is we're trying to do a systematic unwinding so that when you're trying to heal something, you can be surgical about it. You can go directly to what it is rather than going, I need to do all these things to try to produce a result. And so the work programming, we did like a master kit where we laid out 49 aspects. And when you go through and treat things, you can look and see each aspect that you might want to address is under something in those 49 aspects, right? And then the ones that did the intuitive healing, we still use that same format. And so the the intuitive component or the intuitive counterpart of the auric programming still followed that same format. So here we're going to talk about, in the Sandalphon class, we're going to talk about what each of the layers addresses, what systems it addresses, what kinds of conditions that it addresses, and we're still going to use those 49 aspects to say each layer of the aura directly impacts one of these 49 aspects, and then you're going to be given a recipe book. So, the first Sandalphon class, we were still doing like an exploration of everything and getting everybody used to the idea. And, the thing when you're bringing in information like this, you kind of have to break through the way things have been taught or the way people think about these things to bring in like higher teachings like this. And so, a lot of times when we're coming back through with a 2.0, we're doing a much deeper dive into something. There's going to be more information and there's going to be more specific applications. And so here, we're going to go through, we're going to do the exploration of the seven layers. We're going to do a couple protocols involving the 7 layer approach with addressing certain conditions. We'll do them all together, but then we'll look at, if we go through and we want to treat digestive functions or a digestive issue, which layer do we use? If we want to treat a respiratory issue, what layer do we use? If we want to cultivate active intelligence, which layer do we treat? If I want to work with angels, which layer do I treat? If I want to enhance, meditation, especially something like oneness or sustained awareness or Kundalini practices, which layer do we treat? And so prosperity, materialization, again, which layer do we treat? And so here we're going to go through it systematically, just boom, 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 boom. And you're going to be given a respiratory or a recipe book to go through and address the different kinds of conditions so you can look up and problem solve on your own. And in a way, we're presenting them each in like pieces, but the end result is going to be, you're going to be able to open up like a big master book and go, okay, if I go to one of these 49 aspects, I can treat it on the area of the structure, and I know why. I could go to the function. I know what function to treat this condition, and I know why. I know the dynamics of the aura, what to use specifically for a particular condition, and I know why. And then the auric programming, the intuitive component, we're going to have it all in a big master recipe book. And I mean, it's going to be to the extent where it might even be a little bit too much for you to manage just in your laptop or iPad or phone or whatever. So we're even looking at putting all this information on its like own website so that you can just go to a website that's just about the aura and go through and be able to, won't have any other information, just all these things about the aura, and be able to go through and look at how to treat different conditions, and then be very specific, be very surgical about what you're doing. And then, well, there'll be other components to it too, but I guess I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But this is all moving in a direction that it's coming together. We've been moving this direction for a couple of years. And so for those of you that have had this Sandalphon technique, I highly suggest, because it's going to be very different than the first time around. And we utilize these oils all the time in a lot of different practices. And if this is new to you, you can have the recording for the first one, but you can also just jump in and do this second version and go for it. And we're using Glory of Lebanon, we're using Moses, we're using Chakra Root Cleanser, Master's Blend, Aura Cleanse, Solomon's Hyssop, and Nimbus. And most of those you'll probably be familiar with when when you start looking at notes and things like this. But here you'll have a lot more specifics, and you'll be able to reference things in the process. So it's going to be a nice, fun weekend. So